This is VOA News via remote. I'm Tommy McNeil. The worldwide death toll from COVID-19 is pacing toward 212 million, with more than 3 million confirmed infections. I should say 212,000 with more than 3 million confirmed infections. In the United States, nearly 57,000 people have died from it, and more than a million people have been infected. The White House has released new guidelines aimed at answering criticism that America's coronavirus testing has been too slow. And U.S. President Donald Trump is trying to pivot toward a focus on reopening the nation. The new testing targets would ensure states had enough COVID-19 tests available to sample at least 2.6% of their populations each month. It's a figure already met by a majority of states. Areas that have been hit harder by the virus would be able to test at double that rate or higher. Still, there are doubts from public health experts that the White House new testing targets are sufficient. Restaurants opened up to dine-in patrons in at least 3 states Monday, and the governor of Texas allowed movie theaters, malls, and eateries to start letting customers trickle into their establishments later this week. Across the country, an ever-changing patchwork of loosening stay-home orders and business restrictions took shape. Texas Governor Greg Abbott outlined a slow reopening of the world's largest economies. In the coronavirus pandemic, restaurants in Tennessee, Georgia, and Alaska's biggest city began opening their doors to dine-in customers with new rules such as temperature checks at the door and logging of customer information for possible contact tracing. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine's first steps toward reopening will require a mask for workers and shoppers as well. And again, in the United States, nearly 57,000 people have died from coronavirus and more than a million people have been infected. This is VOA News. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson returned to work on Monday after recovering from the coronavirus and insisted it's too risky to relax the lockdown just yet. Johnson arrived back in Downing Street Sunday to enormous challenges in front of him. The UK's death toll is well over 20,000 and continues to rise. The economy is facing possibly the deepest recession in 3 centuries, and his party and scientific advisors are divided over how and when to begin easing restrictions. Johnson's government has been criticized for failing to supply all health workers with enough personal protective equipment, and it has a big task ahead in reaching its target of 100,000 tests each day by the end of the month. But Johnson was adamant that better days are ahead. The U.S. Congress is moving ahead on a new coronavirus relief package, but a deepening partisan divide and uncertain scheduling could halt their federal response. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said it might be time to consider a guaranteed income for Americans and insists the next bill must provide aid to state and local governments to pay police, fire, and other frontline heroes. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell counters that his priority is to shield business owners from onerous laws. Leaders announced Congress will return on May 4th, but some lawmakers are being warned full operations may not be able to resume for a whole year. It's still unclear whether something has happened to North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, whose prolonged absence from the public eye amid rumors of ill health has sent the outside world scrambling for information. But while there's every reason to closely monitor Kim's health, it's highly unlikely that anything will be confirmed until North Korea itself makes that official. Gathering intelligence on perhaps the world's most secretive, suspicious, and difficult to read country is not an easy task. And there's probably nothing North Korea guards more closely than the details of Kim's health, which experts say would only be shared among a handful of members of the top elite. Former U.S. Vice President Joe Biden is already working with the team to plan for his transition in preparation for winning the White House in November. He told donors during a virtual fundraiser on Monday night. Biden said that he has been meeting with former Delaware Senator Ted Kaufman, his longtime aide who was appointed to fill Biden's Senate seat when he was elected vice president, to discuss his transition plans. Kaufman worked on Barack Obama's transition team in 2008 and helped author legislation formalizing the presidential transition process. Find more at voanews.com. Via remote, I'm Tommy McNeil, VOA News.